Welcome to the show. Welcome back. Glad you made it. It's so production. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing it once again. It's March 25th, 2026. Thank you for joining me wherever you are tuning in from. You Bumba Klutz, Wagwan, to me familiars in Canada, wherever you're tuning in from. If it's further down south, I'm talking about the United States of America, all 50 states, beautiful states. Tight further down south with tight down there, tight in the down south area in the nether regions. Mexico, South America, Europe, over there with the big asses in Europe. All right, not known specifically for big asses in Europe, but nonetheless, you could still do squats or get plastic surgery. What are we even talking about? Doesn't matter. Asia, also known for their huge tits and big asses. Neither here or there, doesn't matter. Again, squats and plastic surgery, consider it, or injections, doesn't matter. The point is, whether you're in Antarctica, whether you're in Greenland, also known for their big tits and big asses in Greenland specifically. That's their export, not numero uno export from Greenland. Big tits, big asses, even bigger tits and bigger asses. And shout out to Alaska for Alaska takes the cake for the biggest tits and asses in the world, globally speaking. That is, ladies and gents, welcome back. If it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. If you've been with me from the get-go, shout out to you. Let's just get right into it. Let's just how it goes. There's a lot to discuss, lots of fun to be had. I hope you're titillated. I hope you finished just giving birth to yourself as I did prior to starting the podcast. And welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. Where do we even begin, ladies and gentlemen? Let's start off with the fun stuff. We'll see where it takes us. Rebecca Puckett had a sock puppet. Rebecca Puckett knew how to suck it. I'm sorry. Who is Rebecca Puckett? Looking for things that rhyme with Puckett. Fuck it. There you go. Rebecca Puckett had a suck puppet who knew how to suck it. Who said go fuck it. There you go. Rebecca Puckett, along with her husband Josh, let's take a trip to Florida. Put it up if you're from Florida. Right there, Florida. There was a beached white shark, a great white shark. I'm not talking about an ordinary white shark. I'm not talking about a shark that's white, that does a 9 to 5. It's got a family, a boy and a girl, and a wife, trad family life. I'm talking about a great white shark, all right? This is the fucking Einstein of white sharks. This is the Usain Bolt of great white sharks. All right, that poor example there, not because, who is a great, Neil Armstrong. There you go. That's a beautiful white. That's great. Nonetheless, this beached white shark, great white shark, was beached, and all of a sudden what happened? Rebecca Puckett saw this beached shark, and she, instead of turning away or running around like most people would at the sight of a shark, she ran towards the shark, helped this shark back into the water, saved the great white shark. And a lot of people are now wondering what is unraveled after the saving of the great white shark. Well, I'm here to break it to you. Breaking news. The great white shark who was released and relieved. I'm not talking about just relieved, a loss of, bodily functions once you're beached comes with relief once you're released. That's aside the point. What's he up to right now? I'll tell you in just a second. He's, after his release, he ended up biting around 74, specifically children, bit 74 children, snacked, nibbled on about 37 women, bitches. I'm talking about ranging from the age of 37 to 73. Killed 5 men, and they were good men. They weren't ordinary men. They were men who who partook in sports that involved water and surfing and kayaking and paddle boarding. So they were great men. 5 dudes right there, and 2 cats, 1 dog, and a goldfish. And that was just on the day that he was released. So congratulations to Rebecca Puckett and her husband Josh. Again, it's important that we coexist with animals. Maybe one of the pillars of today's podcast will be coexisting with other animals. So that was fantastic. But other than that, he went on to, I've heard he's got a great job. He's got a great job in Silicon Valley right now. He's working in tech. It's a miracle. We don't know how he's surviving out the water, but no one's questioning it at this point because, again, it's a great white shark. I managed to get saved. Maybe there's a, maybe there's a sense that I got to give back now that I've been saved. So there's that, whatever you want to call a survivor's guilt, or buyer's remorse, or whatever people call it. It's what the shark is going through. Great, holding down the job, which is amazing. Now he did bite one coworker right there on the shoulder. Took 3 bites out of someone's tit. But again, no major injuries, and that was. But he's had a little chat. He's had a little chatting too. All right, somebody had to sit him down and just tell him the lay of the land. But he's pretty cool. Outside of that, he's adopted a cat. He's looking into getting himself a woman. And again, this is a miracle. It just goes to show that humans and animals can coexist. Now, yes. After work, one time he went into the parking lot and literally killed 37 human adults in the parking lot, probably due to a lack of water, but we're not questioning it at this point. Again, it's a whole miracle. The shark is now embedded in Silicon Valley, moving, working in chips, working in manufacturing chips. And that's something we could all use more of today, manufacturing more chips. So whether it's in Texas today or California the next day, we're all working together. And that's a little bit of, global/local headlines and news. If you're wondering, like, what's going on in the animal kingdom, you're welcome out there. Just answered a few of your questions. Speaking of the animal kingdom, let me just tell you, giving birth to yourself does leave you quenched. So let's quench that thirst together. This has been on your minds. This has been on my mind. It's weird. We've seen this fella roaming around. Palm Beach Pete. That's what he calls himself. There's a video that's popped up. Somebody's caught a man driving in I believe it doesn't matter what the car is. I think it's a Merc. It doesn't matter. He's driving in a car somewhere. A fellow captures this man because he looks identical to Jeffrey Epstein. People are questioning whether or not if it's Jeffrey Epstein or if it's, as this guy calls himself, Palm Beach Pete. This is what he calls himself. He's driving around. He's made a video alleging he's not Jeffrey Epstein, but then he's claimed, allegedly, I'm not even sure about the facts here. Apparently he partied with Epstein at one point. This is so an identical doppelganger of Epstein, caught driving a car, questioned as to whether or not he is Jeffrey Epstein, denies it, but yet says he's partied with Jeffrey Epstein. Questions. Did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself? Is he still alive? If he's still alive, is Palm Beach Pete Jeffrey Epstein? I've also heard recently, just hours or maybe even days, I'm not even sure when it happened, where right after his death, apparently a whole bunch of documents were shredded. And I don't know if that's the normal procedure when somebody dies, when somebody of high status, when a high status prisoner dies, when somebody big name who's in custody dies, or allegedly dies, all right, or gets murdered, or did it even happen? But allegedly, right after the death, let's just call it a death, because who knows what the hell is going on. Allegedly, right after the death, inmates were given shredded documents by the feds to go and dispose these documents, which is weird. Why would you shred that? Why would the feds get in to shred a whole bunch of documents? I don't know if it's a regular amount of documents that they've shredded. Is this a normal part of procedure? Do we just have people dying and we're like, you know what helps with grief? Shredding documents. Let us all move forward with shredding some documents. Maybe they did that. It's a grieving process. I'm not in law enforcement, so I don't know how it works. Different people deal with loved ones or acquaintances or even strangers' deaths in a different way. So that's how law enforcement apparently gets rid of grief. They're like, this guy, scumbag, dead. Let's fucking shred some papers and then give it over to the inmates to dispose of it, because that's normal. So questions, this is what I recommend. Palm Beach Pete needs to spit in a cup. You need to, I'm sorry. This is, again, I'm not saying this is Epstein. I'm not saying this is, but again, it would be nice to have one, spit in a cup, fella. Palm Beach Pete, if you're watching this video, subscribe. Also, and go ahead and spit in a cup. Let's get this man's DNA tested in a lab. Let's get his jism. Let's get his jism just to, and some fingerprints, just to, because he looks really, again, it's uncanny. The resemblance is uncanny. You could definitely, and again, I'm not saying it's him, but let's just get a little bit of urine sample, blood sample. If he's cooperative, great. If he's not, I'm not saying watch where he dumps his garbage and collect it, but all I'm saying is piss in a cup and let a fella taste test it, if you know what I mean. Gargle, gargle, swallow and spit, and fit. Do a little swab. Do a little mouth swab. Do a little bit of a nose swab. Swab your asshole. Whatever you're comfortable with, Palm Beach Pete, if that is your real name. All right, a little bit of a DNA, I'm talking about nail, the fingernail clippings. I'm talking about, a little bit of, pubic hair, if he's even got any. But it might just be Palm Beach Pete. It might just be that it's, again, one of those random coincidences that this guy looks identical to the most, infamous pedophile / sex trafficker of our time, of humanity. Were there bigger sex traffickers than Epstein? Is he like, he's the GOAT of sex trafficking and pedophilia at this point. I can't think of anybody. Leave a comment if you know somebody who's greater than Epstein. Again, not an aspirational field to be great in, but he is, again, talk about GOAT status. He's up there. Nonetheless, if Palm Beach Pete, please, a little bit of a, just piss in a cup, please. Piss in a Ziploc bag and send it over to the authorities. Ziploc, send it over. Let's scan that bad boy and see what comes out. Speaking of pissing in Ziploc bags, Justin Timberlake, shout out to JT. This is unfortunate. This does not bring me any joy, but I actually see the positive in all of this. I did see this, like many of you guys and gals might have seen this. Justin Timberlake was recently living his life a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken. He had a little bit of a DUI. He had a little bit of a DUI stitch. There was a body cam image of a officer, recording the whole encounter. And I gotta tell you, I think he tried his best to keep it under wraps from it, have it not come out into the public. And unfortunately, I don't know for what reason, they decided to release this video. It's actually a nice video, I'll tell you. And it is embarrassing. It sucks. It's embarrassing. A little bit embarrassing, but again, I want to highlight the positives of this. How can we turn this into a positive? When life gives you, loose fucking titties, or too many wrinkles on your nutsack, you make lemonade, and you're like, I can't do anything about the loose titties and the extra wrinkles on my nutsack, but I can always make lemonade. That's the story of lemons and lemonade and loose titties and extra wrinkles on your nutsack. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, on the bright side of things, the video I saw, it was a few minutes. I'm pretty sure it was longer, but the few minutes that I saw, it was actually one that I'll say this in defense of Justin Timberlake, one of the best drunks, one of the best public drunks, in terms of he was cool, he was chill, he was cooperative. He said, I appreciate you many a times to the officers, knowing that they are just doing their job. So in a sense, again, everything's a public relations campaign. In a sense, this could be the best thing that ever happened to DUIs. Nay, I'm gonna go out on the limb here and say it. I think JT didn't just bring back sexy. He did that. He brought back sexy. What else did he bring back? I think he just brought back DUIs. Am I right? It's springtime. It's summertime. DUIs have just, been kind of, pushed aside. Oh, we're too good for DUIs now. And, it was a thing of the 70s and 80s and prior. And no one wants to do it anymore. Bring back DUIs, classy DUIs. This was great. He did not get, belligerent. He was not fucking acting a fool. He was not up in the, cops' grills or not. He was cooperative, calm, relaxed. He tried to do the test, which I agree. The tests look difficult. I've never done them myself, thank God. I'm not even sure if I can do them sober, to be honest with you. And every time I see images of people having to do this test, they're in the midst of taking the steps to cop, starts talking as they start over. This happened. It's a difficult test. It is a difficult test. In defense of Justin, I'll say that he handled himself really well. DUIs are it's time to bring him back a little bit. It's time to bring him. I'm not saying like let's everybody go crazy and do DUI, but like let's bring it back a little bit. Let's bring it back. Class C DUIs, as you know, again, it was a prime example. It's a great example of how you should conduct yourself in a DUI. Also, another moral of the story: bring back drinking. I don't think people are drinking enough. That's what I gather, because if I'll say this. Had Justin Timberlake been drinking a lot, and this is what I can tell, he's not a big drinker. He's not a big drinker. Because had he been a big drinker, let's say he's like drinking all day, every day, on tour, during his world tour, during, average days, just getting up, drinking and conducting himself and, taking care of tasks. I can tell he's not a functional drunk. That's where you want it. Moral of the story, be a functional drunk, become a functional drunk. Because let's say you go do your world tour. You're like, I don't do world tours. I'm just an average person. Do your regular work, but do it drunk. Do your regular work drunk. So that if you are caught in a situation where you're supposed to do some sort of DUI test, or any other test for that matter, any other test, you're not like, oh, I don't know if I can do this drunk. If you're used to, it's a tolerance game. Build up that tolerance. So next time you get pulled over, they're like, can you do this? You be like, watch me, and then take a whole bottle of whiskey, down it right in front of them, and then do the walk. It's not impossible. It's not like an impossibly difficult walk. It's just, it takes practice, and many of us don't practice these walks. I'm just saying, drink a little bit more on the job. Uptick, we need to see an uptick in drinking and working. Bring back drinking and working. I think that sums it up. With more people, drank and worked, work would be way more fun, and you'd have no trouble passing any DUI tests. That's the moral of this story. For Justin, I think this will all blow over, but even if it doesn't even matter, to be honest with you. It was one of the best DUIs I've ever seen. Again, conducted himself really well, classy, kept it tight, respectful, and that was beautiful. If you want to have a DUI, this is a great example of how to do it. I'm not saying do it, but if you are going to do it, but also start drinking more. That's the big, really, the sales and drinks of just the younger generations and the, things being expensive out there. You got to cut out fruits and vegetables. Pick up drinking instead, please, for the sake of having a little bit more fun. Think of humanity's future. Look, bites out of the apple and, sucking on little healthy fucking carrot sticks didn't get us to the moon. You know what got us to the moon? Men and women who sat in NASA and drank and smoked. That's what got us on the moon, allegedly. But we'll get to that later. Doesn't matter. Start drinking more, please. This one saddens me. It gets me emotional. It gets me a little bit just like, oh, I wanna. Where will justice get served is what I ask myself when I encounter situations or stories like this. What am I talking about? Nicolette, what's her last name? I want to say, I can't pronounce her last name. I'm not sure if I even remember it correctly. Nicolette Coe, I want to say. Keough. Coe. Nicolette, doesn't matter. A woman from Pensacola. I'm not even sure if that's a real Pensacola. I hope I'm remembering the name of the place, or Pensacola. There's Nicolette. Let's just say Nicolette from Pensacola to keep it simple for the sake of the story moving along. This woman is getting she's getting a little bit of backlash. She's getting a little bit of, and what has she done, Rob? You're asking me. Thank you. We'll get there. God, slow down a little bit, all right? It's okay. It's titillating. Take it easy. We'll get there, all right? Nicolette happens to, I'm not sure if she's a full-time adult, content creator. I'm not sure if it's a part-time thing she does, but nonetheless, she went to a couple of Airbnbs in downtown in Pensacola, if I'm not mistaken. Doesn't matter where she went to, all right? The place is not important. She rented an Airbnb a couple of times in a downtown area. Let's just call the place Pensacola. She videoed herself. She recorded herself urinating on different items and objects in the Airbnb, and then she posted them online. And apparently now she's being bombarded. She's being banned from Airbnb, if I'm not mistaken. She's being, being just ambushed. She's being grilled as to why you're going around pissing on our furniture and the objects that we've left in the Airbnb. And this is heartbreaking. This fucking grinds my gears, twists my titties, and it doesn't get me hard. And I like stories that get me hard. What kind of world do we live in? Ladies and gentlemen, what kind of world do we live in? What is this a sign of the times where we can have a beautiful, relatively young but not too young female? I'm talking about a beautiful bitch. We can't have a bitch go out there and make a sexual video of sorts and squirt on a few, furnitures. I'm talking about, a little lampshade here, a little in-house, a rotary telephone, old school, I don't know, in the coffee maker. We can't, what kind of world do we live in where a beautiful hot bitch who's going out there serving the masses, and mind you, this is all, given the global context of things, she's trying to bring levity and light to this world by going out there and squirting on a few items, all right? Peeing on a few chairs and, sofas and maybe a couple of love seats and maybe a little bit on the pillow too. She's squirting and she's pissing. And all of a sudden, she's bombarded with a whole lot of questions and, allegations of caused damages to the furniture. You know what? If we can't piss and urinate and squirt on furniture when we're renting Airbnb or hotel rooms for that matter, I don't even know if it's worth renting Airbnb and hotel rooms anymore. What's the first thing you do when you get into an Airbnb or a hotel? You start squirting and pissing all over the furniture. The ceiling is where normally people start from, and then you move your way down. But again, I'm hearing that some people are apparently not happy about this. And it just breaks my heart because this young woman is trying to, earn a buck, doing an honest living, all right? She's trying to earn a buck. She's trying to bring joy to people. You know how many people out there every day, what gets them through these times and days sometimes is people that look forward to a little bit of a squirting video, let me just watch this chick piss on a little, plants over there. What is that cactus? What's she gonna do about that cactus? She's about to piss on this cactus. That's 75 million people that look forward to that video each and every day. And you want to go out there and say, oh, this is going to cost $3,000 worth of damages. Damages to whom? Let the pee dry, for Christ's sake. Let it dry. Doesn't even spray a little bit of Febreze on top of the urinated filled room and let it just open a window, for Christ's sake. Don't make a thing out of this. Bring back squirting and peeing on not just furniture, but the entirety of the hotel and or Airbnb and the people in it. Okay, if you can't get in a hotel or an Airbnb, start squirting on people and or furniture or objects and even pets. I'm gonna go out there and say, if you're in a hotel or an Airbnb, getting pissed on, urinated on, squirted on is fair game, all right? That's why we pay the price. We pay the price so that we could go ahead and piss on a few items. This is beautiful. I saw her. She looks beautiful, all right? So please, Airbnb, fucking check yourself with your attitude and your, with your high horse who doesn't want to fucking, put down the gear, always going out there in the back alleys, shooting it up with your goddamn high horse. It's ridiculous how fucking high this horse is. But you get off it, because how are you even doing this to this animal? Normally horses would be, sober and you'd be riding, but this horse is fucking cranked out of his fucking head, man. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that this is I'm hoping to gain a little bit of traction with this story so we can raise awareness so that we could put this all behind us. Put it all behind us. Let Nicolette Co. squirt and piss away and make people happy and provide for herself and her family. Please. A little bit of just, again, probably going back to one of the pillars of the podcast that I spoke about earlier, coexisting with one another and other animals and, just ourselves too. Let's coexist. What else is going on? I believe this is Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City. A beautiful Oklahoma City cop was just chasing a dude on a mini bike apparently. And what's interesting about this story is that he was in the midst of chasing this fella. Fella got on the mini bike, started, whizzing on by, trying to make his escape. The cop finds a bystander, gets on the hood of the bystander's car, has the bystander drive while he's on the hood, eventually catches up to the, I don't know what the guy was being chased for, I don't know his alleged crime, but nonetheless, he caught up to him and caught the guy. And this is beautiful. You're like, what's so special about this story? The fucking cop rode on the hood of the car and did the entire chase on the hood of the car of the bystander. This is amazing. This is incredible. We've not seen this. I've always advocated for different modes of transport. You've heard me say this from the beginning. I'm like, if you could do it differently, please do it differently. And this guy did it fucking differently. Instead of anybody could have gotten in the passenger seat. Anybody could have asked the driver to get out. Anybody could have, gotten on even on the roof. Stand on the roof. Typical. You've seen this shit. All of them get on the top of the roof of the car. This guy got on the hood of the car, drove at a relatively high speed. It wasn't slow. It was relatively, that's dangerous. That's what we like. That's fucking sexy. Of course, you're like, well, what's gonna come of this? I believe now this has become his thing. This has now become this cop's thing, which I'm for. I mean, we're here at Glad You Made It. We support the cops and police officers and first responders through and through. So if this has become his thing, which I hear has now become his thing, so be it. All right. Next thing you know, he's like, all right, let's go catch a little bit of lunch before we go get the bad guys. Bosco, you get in the driver's seat. Where are you gonna go? I don't know his name. Where are you gonna go, Jeff? Jeff fucking jumps on the hood of the car, hood of the cop car. That's how they drive to the diner, get their grub. Next thing you know, oh, it's a 10:45. Call it in. We need backup. Send Jeff. Again, Bosco's driving. Jeff is on the hood. They get their fucking handbrake. Jeff just pounces on the criminals. Elbow, 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 elbow. Right there. That's Jeff on the hood of the car. There's burglars inside that house and there are women that are being threatened. Get Bosco in the driver's seat and get Jeff on the hood. Next thing you know, skirt, Jeff once again pounces on the hoodlums that are threatening the females inside the residential building at 74th and 5th. Is that an address? I feel like it is. Somewhere in New York. Sounds like a New York address. 75 and 5th. Weird ass names. It's all right, we'll get used to it. Doesn't matter. The point is that I like this Jeff, if that is your real name. Doesn't matter what your name is, sir. Shout out to you. Congratulations. You just outdone yourself. You're now I think you're getting a raise and you're getting promoted to, I don't know the levels of cops. You're becoming a bigger cop than you already are. Give him a medal. Do cops get medals? Yeah, they do. Sometimes they do, I think. Get a badge. You already have a badge. Get one of those. Get something. Give him something. Give Jeff something. For crying out loud, give him something. He rode the fucking hood of the car. Who does this except in movies, which is pretty fucking awesome. Don't get in his way. He's comfortable doing it that way, all right? And I don't want other people who are like, oh, if Jeff is riding the hood, I can ride the hood. It's Jeff's thing. Get your own thing, all right? Get your own thing. Right on the bottom of the car, all right? Get a bull, ride the bull. Ride the bull and solve the crime on the bull, with your bull. If you need backup, use the bull. That's your thing. This is Jeff's thing. Speaking of going to the moon, speaking of people who took us to the moon, we're going back to the moon. We're going back to the moon. A lot of space news. This gets me hard. Now this type of shit gets me hard. NASA has re-released several times. It's not the first time that it's been released and re-released again, but an image that was taken by NASA in 2001 has captured the minds and imagination of the entire human race. All right, some of the human race, like at least 80% of the human race. Fine, fucking push comes to shove, I'll say 50% of the human race have seen this image and are, all right, Mr. Statistics and Mrs. Give me the fucking, where's the white paper on this thing? Doesn't matter. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, 25% of the human population have seen this image. I don't know how many people have quit asking what the percentage of people who've seen this image. I don't know the stats. All right, all right. Got me. I don't know how many people actually seen the image, but that's why I'm bringing it up to you. There's an image that NASA took in 2001 of a three-sided pyramid on Mars, all right? On the red planet, it's a pyramid. It's a pyramid. And it was released in 2001, re-released some years later, re-released after that, and then re-released another. That's like 3-4 times this image has been re-released. So apparently we've got this image that's now re-released again, and there's a friggin' pyramid on Mars. It's 3-sided. You don't know, it's roughly, I think they say it's roughly the same size as the pyramids in Egypt. I'm not quite sure. Why is it 3-sided? Who made it? Is it a natural occurrence, or is it artificial? And but everything comes from nature, so which begs the question. Oh, and that's a question that likes to get down on his or her knees and start begging. You know what they say about beggars? What are you even talking about? That's right, 3-sided pyramid on Mars. I'm questioning it myself. Is it a natural occurrence? Like and did it happen just because of like the circumstances on Mars? Is it like, just the way it is? The angles look really fucking sharp. I don't know about that. It looks really fucking, looks like 90-degree angles, or, straight lines. Looks fucking, it looks tight. I'll tell you that. It looks tight. Who made it? Did aliens make it? Did we in a past life make it? Did we leave Mars and then come to Earth? Because there are, talks of future space missions to Mars. Like, we're going to Mars for the first time. Are we going there for the first time, or are we revisiting our old home? Questions to be asked. I get excited about this shit. I don't know about other people. Some people are like, oh, I don't care about space. I like space. I like space. It's fucking science shit. And it's out there for us to fucking grab and suckle on. So we're doing that. I don't know who made it. I'm intrigued. I'd like us to one day hopefully get there. And we are getting there. And that's part of the program that got us there initially, which again, made up of men and women who smoked and drank a lot. Talking about real scientists, fucking lab coats and cigarettes and drinking. Lots of drinking and fucking sex in NASA, sexual. That's what the S is for NASA, sexual. Artemis 2 that's another beautiful news that's captured the minds and imaginations of 8 billion people all around the world. We're going around the moon next week, guys. We're going around the moon. Artemis 2 is about to fucking take off, and we're gonna orbit the moon, and we're gonna fucking maybe spit on the moon from afar just to see if it lands. We're gonna fucking, open the hatch and take a dump on it just to see, like, does it, what's the velocity of this doo-doo going from our shuttle to the moon. We're gonna calculate that, send it back to Earth, and I believe in 2028, we're gonna be building a moon base. And this is, I swear to God, if you guys, I've heard so many deadlines growing up, grew up, but then still continue to grow. Deadlines after deadline. 2028, timestamp this shit. 2028. If we're not landed on the moon by 2028, I will fucking do absolutely nothing about it, because I can't do much about it, but like low key, it'll just be like etched in my mind. Once again, promises made, promises not kept, and that will again drive me to do absolutely nothing. All right, but 2028, apparently we're going to the moon, building a moon base. I'm here for it. I don't care how much money it costs. Yes, we got other things to worry about down here. Yes, cool, but also the moon is pretty fucking cool too, and it looks pretty fucking close. All right, Artemis 2, I've said it. If we're gonna go rotate around, if we're gonna orbit around it, let's just land a couple. Let's take more people with you. 2 more. Get lighter astronauts. Get lightweight astronauts. Drop a few of them off. Maybe criminals. Couple of criminals with GoPros attached all over their body, drop them off there. You know what I'm talking about, lifers. Take a couple of lifers with you. There's so many people in prison who have done heinous acts. Take like 2-3 of them with you, all right? Once you're there, orbiting the moon, drop them off. Give them a couple of roosters, chickens, a couple of seeds so that they can, make do with whatever they've got. Duct tape, flashlights, a couple of hens, some seeds, some dried fruits and vegetables so they can survive for a few weeks until we get back. But apparently in 2028, we're going there and we're building a moon base, and I'm excited because guess what? As soon as that base is built and as soon as some time has passed, I want to be amongst one of the first people who know, not just podcasts from the moon, probably holds down the first fucking, live show from the moon. All right, time stamped out right here. Live show from the moon, emitting it back to the Earth and sending it back to Mars as well. So I want to, we build a coliseum, we do the podcast from the moon, we bring in the criminals and the hookers, we have ourselves a ball, we procreate in space. And that's the story of humanity, boys and girls, ladies and gents. How did we get there? Fucking, are you paying attention or not? Fucking smoking and drinking, man. Smoking and drinking, please. Pick it up. Congratulations to the survivors of the LaGuardia Air Canada plane crash that crashed a few days ago with the fire truck in LaGuardia. Congratulations to all the survivors. Shout out to the deceased pilots. Rest in peace. This is heartbreaking news for the pilots. Both of them were pilots. Both of the people who died were pilots, if I'm not mistaken. One was definitely a pilot. The other one was just like, let me put on the suit and fucking ride your coattails. But nonetheless, rest in peace to those fellas. But also the bigger picture is congratulations to all the survivors. How did this happen? Cuck Democrats blocked funding, apparently, which that has been somewhat resolved. I know I heard about this whole TSA thing. Not enough security throughout the airports, making traveling a whole lot messier than it needs to be due to, again, cuck Dems for saying we're not going to fund this bill. Ugh. Fund it. We've got absolutely all the funds we need. Fund it. If it's not been funded, fund it. But nonetheless, ICE got there and helped out and everything is sorted out, which also, fucking parentheses, is there nothing ICE can't do? God, having trouble with your immigration, ICE will help. Having trouble with TSA, ICE to the rescue, Having trouble eating out your wife, ICE will help, Mechanical issues with your car, ICE will help. Took a fall and broke your hip, ICE will make it better. Is there anything ICE can't do? That should be kind of like if there's not a campaign yet for ICE that, the things that they can do anything. ICE can do anything at this point. Need to remove the IRGC? ICE will help right there. Again, does NASA need help for being more sexual? ICE. The point is, congratulations. That's what I was trying to get to. Congratulations to all the survivors of this plane crash. You've been traumatized. Your lives have been impacted. You saw death. You waved at death. Death touched your cack. But then you pulled out. Hell of a pull-out game. You now survived. You're now multi-millionaires. If you don't know by now, you should know. This is what I wish for all of us. Not that I wish, terrible things happen, but I do wish for us to get into, as close as possible to a terrible situation, but survive it and then have the ability to go out there and sue for millions and millions of dollars for the trauma caused by this plane crashing with the fire truck, which I don't know what caused it, technically speaking. Whose fault was it? Doesn't even matter. I'm baffled as to, I get it. There's a lot of air traffic control communications. It's not a regular area. It's an airport. It's not like a regular road or a side road or a highway. It's an airport busy with all sorts of vehicles, whether they're, fucking airplanes, fire trucks, those buggies that carry the other buggies that carry the luggage, people fucking, there's some guy fucking who took Molly and he's got like fucking strobe lights and he's just fucking, that guy fucking, I don't know what, headphones on, just fucking, EDM banging out and he's just fucking doing it. Give him nunchucks if they're, you never know, because nunchucks in one hand, fucking neon light in the other, and at least if anything happens, there's like a bad guy on the premise, on the tarmac, fucking, light in his face and the nunchuck. Nonetheless, the point is, because like the truck could have easily not, no, is it that difficult to see a plane and just divert a little bit? Maybe I'm naive. This seems to me like, places where I don't expect to see many crashes. The tarmac, bodies of water. I just think there's just far too much room. There's just far too much room for people to crash. I can see how difficult it might be for the plane to divert, but the truck could have easily stopped. No, could have easily just fucking turned the wheel a little bit. What do I know? It's airports. Nonetheless, you survived. Congratulations. Again, I hope this happens to most of us, that we somehow get a major payday and can just, take a breather for a second. Take a breather, but then like come back and focus on the stuff that we fucking love and do, that we don't even think about because we love them. And that's what I hope for each and every one of us, for our planes to be fucking flipped over and us not dying. Or it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but congratulations to this peculiar circumstance. Please seek out a lawyer if you haven't already, and just remember your boy. Remember who had your back since day one. Congratulations. God, you're gonna get beautiful fucking platinum grills, aren't you? Half of you are gonna get platinum grills, commemorating the day that the plane crashed and flipped upside down. God, you're so lucky. All right, ladies and gentlemen, taking a trip over there to LA. This is a restaurant that caught my attention because of the story that unraveled inside the restaurant. This is actually you could say this is a sociological or anthropological study. The results are in. Apparently 5 bitches went into an LA restaurant. There was one bill at the restaurant at the end of the dinner or lunch or brunch or breakfast. I don't know which meal they consumed, but there was one bill. These 5 bitches went out there, consumed some food. When the bill came, they got in a tussle and all 5 ended up stabbing one another. That's again, this has been, you were wondering out there. People have been asking questions. How many bitches can hang out together at the same time? Apparently the answer came in, no more than 4. No more than 5 is too much. 5 is too much. 5 bitches can't handle it. It's too many, it's too much. It's too much estrogen, it's too much. You're all syncing your fluids together. Tits are lactating. You're ovulating, dropping eggs. Whose egg is this? Did you drop your egg again on my foot, Becky? Fuck you. Going nuts. And yeah, 5 of them. They all stabbed each other over the bill. It was, just too much. 5 is, it's an odd, no, you need an even number, 2 on each side of the table. If it's a round table, you can 2 of you can talk to each other. But the 5th one, that's just too much. Again, the numbers came in. This is not me, this is science. This is, again, anthropologists have been studying this for millennia. And again, the answer came back no more than, 4. No more, when chicks are hanging out there, no more than 4, unless the group is, again, bigger, in which case you can go up by increments of 4, and that's, again, 5 is not a good number. 5 is just too much. And that's the thing, because that's the thing. With 4, you can kind of, you can decide how we're going to do it. Splitting the bill is so easy. 4 ways is so easy. Divided by 4 is so easy. Divided by 5, that's just, too much. It's too much. All right? And again, if you have 5 chicks, you need a guy in there. You need one guy in there. It's just too much estrogen. You need one guy. Because 4 bitches could have easily picked up the bill. 5 bitches, you're all confused. You're like, well, who's going to pay for this bill? I'm not going to. That's the thing. With 5 chicks, you don't know who's going to pay for the bill. You don't know. It's just, if it's a guy, the guy will pick up the check. 5 bitches, you're all looking at each other like, who's going to pick up the check? Not me, not me, not me, pointing to each other like that. Spider-Man me. Not me. And you end up stabbing each other. 2 of the 5 women were apparently relatives, or at least connected to each other. I don't know how. Not like Siamese connections, but blood. I'm not talking about vaginal bleeding and scissoring. I'm talking about, like, I think they were cousins. I don't know their relation. They said they were connected. But 5 of them all stabbed each other. And that's the thing, because at least with a guy, like as a male, we're like, we gladly pay for the time we spend with you and whatnot. It's beautiful. That's the way it goes. You're the more attractive sex that comes with the package. We pay this 5 chicks going out together. Like, who pays for it? I'm not used to this. Normally, I finish the meal, somebody else pays for it. You're all, just a bunch of hens fucking going at each other. It's just too much. Get a guy in there. Get a guy in there to save you from paying for the bill. And yeah, that's rule of thumb. Go by ranking. Go by the hottest chick shouldn't have to pay. The hottest chick should not have to pay. I'm not saying the ugliest chick in the group has to pay, but the uglier ones should have to pay. If you're hefty, if you're fucking, if you're right there, if you're a little bit of a chunky monkey, yeah, pick up the bill. You probably ate more. Low key, you probably ate more. Michelle's a drinker. She doesn't even eat much. She's a drunk. Michelle's a drunk. All right. Betty fucking put some away. How many chicken wings did you have? Fucking 27 chicken wings. Pick up the bill, all right? Get to hang out with the group. And later on, you might get picked up too. Later on in the evening, you might get picked up too. The point is that the hot chick should not have to pay. The hottest one. Then if you're all hot, then fucking still figure it out. There's a ranking. There's a pecking order. All right? Quack, quack, fucking pecking order. Get it together. 5 bitches, 1 bill. Star of Reacher, the series, Alan Ritchson, was just caught in a tussle with a neighbor. That's neighbor. All right, not a. This is. What was he doing? Alan Ritchson. He's a big fella. He's a big fella. He's not that big, but he's big. You could use some size. He could definitely use some. He's all right. Some might even say he's a petite man. He's a petite. Let's just say what others say. He's a petite man. Alan Ritchson's a petite man. He's driving around on his motorbike, on his bike, along with 2 other children. I did not look into the story. I don't know who the children were. It could be his children. It could be children that he rescued. It could be children that I don't know, but it's 2 children. I'm going to assume that doesn't matter. The children aren't even important in this story, all right? Alan Ritchson was driving on his bike. A cuck neighbor comes and get in his face, and Alan Ritchson fucking puts down the hammer. And by that I mean fucking the neighbor got in his grill. So why are you driving your cool bike? This is a cuck neighborhood. And next thing you know, Alan Ritchson fucking right there. Jab, hook, triangle, square, circle. All of the moves. PlayStation. Point is, cuck neighbor versus Alan Ritchson. You're lucky that you got away with the few minor scratches that you did obtain. I listened to the people. We went onto the streets. We listened to people on the streets. We went online. From what we see here, it's a clear W for Alan Ritchson. From now on, he has the right to, every time you see this cuck neighbor, you have the right to fucking pounce on him. Just fucking right there, just getting it, because he caused it. I believe from what I saw, he caused it. You're in the wrong. You're now, because this is not a, if this was like regular folks, I tell you, just fucking, kiss and make up, move it along. But this is everyone's favorite star reacher, Alan Ritchson. He's a giant of a man. And then wait a little bit, but I do want to see other fights coming along next week or like the following month once the dust settles. Alan, beat him with your cock. He must have a huge, ginormous cock. Alan must have a huge, because he's big. He's big. I don't know how big he is, but he looks, at least like fucking 14 feet tall and like 750 pounds. But again, could use a little bit of size. Maybe start juicing, start exercising, Alan. The point is that, beat him with your cock. That would have been, how big is his cock? Must be at least 10 feet long. I bet he could pull a truck, like a 18. I bet he could pull an 18-wheeler with his cock probably works out too. His cock probably drives a motorcycle too. I bet his cock probably wears a leather jacket and no helmet either. Just fucking greases his hair back. Who are the kids? I don't know. Were they his kids? Alan Ritchson's kids? That's fucking reminds me of my dad. One time, my dad got in a tussle with a guy in a car one time. This is a long time ago. It doesn't matter, but that's a fine example. That's a great example, because that fucking, when somebody gets in your face, you fucking stand up for yourself. That's the message right there. I was terrified as a child. I was terrified, but these are Alan Ritchson's children. You will fucking probably grow up to be like, fucking 28 feet tall and like 1,000 pounds of muscle as well, but it doesn't matter. The point is that I don't know if they're his kids. Maybe fucking he's a good guy. From what I don't know. He's probably a good guy. Looks like a good guy. I think he rescued the kids. They're not even his kids. Alan Ritchson drives bikes and rescues kids. And that's what he does. And this fucking cock neighbor got in his face like, oh, look at you, star of, Mr. Big Shot. Trying to big time the cuck neighbors, huh? Rescuing kids on your spare time and driving your bike. Yeah. All right. Fuckface. Alan Ritchson rescues children, orphan children, and fucking will get up in your grill if you fucking get up in his grill right there. So shout out to Alan Ritchson. Reacher, I've not seen the entire series. I've seen bits and pieces, and I like the bits and pieces that I see. There's so much to consume. Like many of us have many things to do, and many of us do consume many of things. I've not. It looks like a cool show, though. I'll say that. And guess what, Cuck Neighbor, make a show. Make a show that I'll get on your side. But for the time being, you're just Cuck Neighbor. So there you go. That's my take. Different times, different settings, fights over a volcano, fights over a bridge with this Cuck Neighbor. And then we can make a series out of this. In a forest, using bamboo sticks. Alan Richson is the Cuck Neighbor Eliminator. A douche right there. Somebody wrote in and asked a question, and thank you for opening up to us. The lines are open. It's 1-877-273654, 372-212-300-333-56789. Somebody called in, and sometimes you can email as well. You know the email address. But somebody did and asked a question, and they are seeking our help together. We are a community. This is a little, again, call it a grassroots effort, call it a podcast, call it a, call it milk from the titty. That's what it is. Call it, the land of milk from the titty and honey from the bee's wax. It's what it is. The point is, somebody wrote in, and the question was, thank you, you'll remain anonymous like many other callers and senders of emails have remained anonymous on this show. Candace wrote in, let's just call her Candace for the sake of anonymity. Candace wrote in and said, should I put lipstick on my pussy? Wow, thank you for that, Candace. Should you put lipstick on your pussy? I say, why not, Candace? I say, why? If you're a full-grown adult, all right, there's no reason as to why you shouldn't put lipstick on your pussy. As I see many reasons as to why you should put lipstick on your pussy. For instance, if a lot of times people are like, oh, I wonder if the carpet matches the drapes. Let's say you've shaved all your puss hair down there. Let's say you've done that, and then that's when if you're wearing lipstick, the drapes would then, because you don't have you don't have the drapes no more because you cut your. It's a bad analogy, but you could see easily if you're wearing lipstick, there's no pussy. Let's just call it what a pussy is. Just a second pair of lips. There it is. So if you're putting lipstick on your lips. What do they call them? They don't call them pussy arms. They call them pussy lips. They don't call them pussy feet, do they? They call them pussy lips. So if you're putting lipstick on your lips, on your face, on your face lips, then there's no reason as to why you should not put lipstick on your puss lips, on your mid lips, on your vertical smile. Put it up there. Because it'd be weird if you didn't. As a matter of fact, I'll say this: a lot of people would like to admit that the mass majority of people don't put lipstick on their puss because they're losing out. They're losing out, and guess what? People are doing this in secret. People are doing it. You wouldn't know because nobody talks about it. But thank you for writing that and asking that question. You could definitely do it. I'd say, it'd be much easier to find your pussy in a parking lot. Sometimes you can't apart. You go into the mall or, you go into a, fucking store somewhere and you park your car and you get out, you're like, oh, where'd I leave my puss? And it's so much easier to find your puss. How'd you put a little bit of lipstick on it so it stands out? So if it stands out, it's easier for you to spot. Hence, finding your puss much easier in a parking lot, I'll say that. It's like, also it comes in handy in terms of like, oh, I wish I could color my lover's cock with my puss, but my puss doesn't have any, it doesn't come with color. I can't color my, guess what? If you put lipstick on your puss as you ride him, whenever you do decide to ride him, you'll color his cock. Red, purple, different shades of brown, green, yellow, or whatever color you want to put on your puss lips. You can apply that to your male friend's man's penis cock. So you couldn't have done that had you not applied lipstick on your puss. And the evenings when you go out in the night and you're like, patting yourself there, you're like, oh, I wonder, where's my puss? I can't. And again, if you applied a little bit of color to your puss, it would stand out a little bit more in the evening. So you're not like, oh, I gotta search my, who knows, I gotta search this bottomless purse for my puss. I wonder did I even bring it with me? If you apply a little bit of lipstick to your puss, it helps, brighten it up, and it's much easier for you to locate in the evenings. Also, if you're like, oh, I wish I could, the times that I'm on my period, I always have the, advantage of like wanting to get out of a situation by pointing to myself and then, or like ripping off my panties and saying, hey, look at this red panty here. I'm on my period. I gotta fucking bounce. Peace. I do that when I'm on my period, but most of the times I'm not. At least, three out of the 4 weeks in the month, I'm not on my period, but I wish I could at least pretend like I'm on my period and fucking bounce out of situations. If you apply red lipstick to your puss, it'll smear all over your white panties. If you wear white panties, red lipstick on the puss, any day of the week, you could just like whip out your panties, be like, oh, I'm sorry, I gotta get out of here. I'm fucking bleeding. And people are not gonna stop you and be like, is that real blood or is that lipstick on your, doesn't matter. People, what kind of pervert's gonna stop you and be like, let me sniff your panties there, Candace, to see if this is actual blood or lipstick. You just show them a little bit of red and it's fucking, you're out of there. You're welcome. So should you? I see no reason as to why you shouldn't. There you go, Candace. You're welcome. Thank you for opening yourself up and putting yourself out there. I hope this helps. Now run along and apply that lipstick to your puss. Heroes come in different shapes and sizes. Heroes do many different activities and are oftentimes labeled as not heroes initially, but only later to be discovered as fucking original heroes. And these are some, and I'm gonna take this moment to celebrate some heroes who may not get the attention, the applause, the accolades that they deserve. These, I'm talking about Code Pink. The Code Pink activists are heroes. I believe they are a leftist bunch of activists that decided to get on a plane or a bunch of different planes and travel to Cuba, and they wanted to help the Cubans because Cuba, as of late, some of you might know, they're having power outages. They're not having access to oil and all that because of their government. So these people, the activists, these brave men and women, got on the planes, spent money, went to Cuba, and while the entire country, island country of Cuba is in a blackout, no access to food, water, it's crazy time, crazy times. These people went there, spent money, got themselves into hotels, which allegedly have access to electricity, meals throughout the day. And then during their time in Cuba, they went out there to a concert and they went and partied. And this is beautiful because, again, the heroes sometimes need some downtime, all right? They're like, when are they gonna do their hero thing? They did. Have you not heard of mixing pleasure and business together? Are you always like, you gotta keep it black and white, You gotta keep it zebra. You gotta fucking, you gotta keep it. They mix pleasure and business. The concert, the trip was not just, it wasn't just pure like work. It was work with pleasure. It wasn't just pure pleasure. It was pleasure with work. As a result of them going to the concert, 7 people in a nearby hospital died because of a lack of electricity going to that hospital. And you're like, how does this help? Well, I'm glad you asked. Guess what? If there are a bunch of people in a dire circumstance in need of help, you can't fucking save them all, can you? Get rid of the weaker ones. Get rid of the ones that are, on the edge of life and death. Get rid of them. That way you can save more. So these guys killed 7 people. All right? 7 people. And this might seem counterintuitive at first. You're like, but they fucking killed people because they were partying and there was no electricity for these poor Cubans. You're not seeing the big picture. You gotta get rid of the weak links, all right? You separate the wheat from the chaff, right? Get rid of those guys who are like, oh, I don't know if it's fucking, if you don't know, then you're out. If you don't know, then you're out. Because this planet is for the living, right? Get rid of the ones that are like, I don't know how I feel about, my health. Get rid of those guys. And then focusing on the saving and the rest. And guess what? If there's like limited resources, the more you get rid of people, the more you help the people who are left behind with more resources. So again, true heroes activating like never seen this kind of activation before. This is tremendous, and this is fucking beautiful. So please keep on doing tremendous activism, activating, and keep on saving lives. And please do not listen to people who are like, oh, you're just going out there and killing people. After the killing comes the saving. After the killing comes the saving. Right? Would you rather them not go to a concert and not kill those people, and we're gonna end up with more people in darkness? Just fucking, oh, guess what? If there's more people in darkness, more people will collide and more people will die. So think about that. A new series is coming out. I'm excited about this one. A new series is coming out, ladies and gentlemen. This is from the mind of sYellowscone. sYellowscone is just dropping a new series under the, it's called sYellowscone. From the mind of sYellowscone. sYellowscone. What's it? You know what I'm talking about. sYellowscone. It's a family business about scones that are yellow. It's in a place called Yellowscones or YellowScone. I'm not sure if it's plural or singular. YellowScone. Oh, we take our scones seriously, and we're gonna always keep them. This is part of the script. This is part of this. I'm just telling you what I know. Just telling you what YellowScone. We keep our scones yellow in this part of land. Nobody's gonna come and take away our yellow scones. Not on my watch. Whoosh, yellow scones. Fucking, hear the sound of horses. It's got horses. It's about a family who's been generationally involved in making yellow scones, and now they're being threatened by a bunch of fucking outsiders who get in there. Are you Gene Johnson from the YellowScone Ranch? Yeah, I'm Gene Johnson from the YellowScone Ranch. Well, we're here to tell you, Gene Johnson, that your days of making yellow scones are over. Oh yeah, you in what army? I'm Gene Johnson. I make yellow scones. Not anymore, partner. From now on, you're gonna go around making white scones, purple scones, green scones, and red scones. By the time we're finished with you, there isn't gonna be a goddamn yellow scone left on this ranch. Whoosh, more horses, more trucks. You're never gonna get rid of me and my clan. We're gonna have this clan, and we're gonna create more yellow scones, because that's the way my dad did it, and that's the way his father before him did it. And there was a leap year before that, so his father prior to him did not make yellow scones, but his father before him fucking made the yellowest scones. And we're not gonna go ahead and start doing scones in different colors just because you think you're gonna waltz in here and have some ideas about what color our scones are gonna be. Yellow scones. From the mind of sYellowscone. And again, it's yellow scones. It's gonna be wonderful. It's gonna be wonderful. Please check it out. Dayton James Weber, ladies and gentlemen. Dayton James Weber is a quadruple amputee from Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. This is beautiful. It's a story of, it's an inspiring story. It's a story of life. It's a story of belief, self-belief, but also like believing together. It's a story of going beyond what society puts on you and labels you and achieving more. Dayton James Weber is a quadruple amputee, 27 years old. So he's got no hands and no feet, missing all his hands and feet. Hence the quadruple amputee, 27 years old. Simultaneously, he is a cornhole champion, or was, or is. I don't know if he's a champion, but he's definitely a cornhole player, if you know what I'm talking about. That cornhole player. And how many of us can legit put it down, look at ourselves in the mirror and say, that fellow or that lady's a cornhole player. Fucking cornhole, you know what I'm talking about, dog. You know what I'm talking, cornhole player. Fucking, you know what I'm talking, cornhole, dog. Fucking, I don't need to say more. Cornhole playa. Cornhole champion. But nonetheless, he didn't just achieve championship status. He didn't just play, all right, as a contender. He went there and fucking dominated. And 27 years old. But recently he caught himself in a situation. He just recently killed a man. He shot a man, apparently, allegedly. Dayton James Weber shot a man sitting in his car, in his Tesla, if I'm not mistaken, along with 2 other people. I don't know what unraveled. I don't know the circumstances, but one thing led to another. Beautiful man, again. Dayton, no hands, no feetsies. Grabbed the gat and shot the fella right next to him, I think. And then asked the other fellas in the car, I don't even know if they were all fellas, asked the other 2 individuals to help him bury the deceased, the murdered. Those guys cucked out, so talk about knowing who your friends are. These guys went ahead and dipped. Dayton got, apparently, I think he's arrested at this point, I'm not quite sure. And this is, again, it's a terrible story for the individual who got murdered. Yes, terrible story in that sense. But looking at things through a positive lens and seeing the bright side of things, because that's what we do around here. I think this might be one of the, I've never heard of a quadruple amputee doing much, let alone being a cornhole player. Huh? Right there. Cornhole player. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Cornhole player. Did the championship with the cornhole. No hands, no feetsies. Drove a car. He was the one driving, apparently. Again, no hands, no feet. Already remarkable. Ended up getting into it with somebody. Grabbed the gat. Right there. And murked the fella. All right. This is incredible. Again, it's not great to murder. Obviously, it's not great to do. But again, this does open up our eyes. This does open up the possibilities, because if you were to do a lineup of 7 people, 5 to 7 people, and be like, who's the murderer in this lineup? You'd never pick the guy that's a quadruple amputee. But this guy is he's spearheading this for the quadruple amputee community, and maybe even quadriplegics. Because most people would fucking, count him out and be like, oh, this guy's or this gal's never, she's, what, Nubs over there? She's never gonna kill. She can't kill. She's got no hands. I mean, you can kill. You too can kill. That's not saying do it, obviously it's not a good, but again, I think just putting out I've always said that other people should always go out there and, because you hear this, crime, acts of violence, this is something predominantly, male driven. It's a lot of males, and I've always said this, like, the females need to fucking pick it up. The quadruple amputees community also, and the paraplegics and quadriplegics also need to, pick it up a little bit, because it's the men can only do so much. All right, our backs are low-key a little bit, we're carrying you. We're carrying the rest of you with the crime and the violence. All right, so the rest of you need to fucking pick it up. But this guy proved the naysayers wrong. Again, I'm not advocating for violence or murder, but I'm just saying he might low-key be the GOAT for quadruple amputees. Because again, he went against the grain. He did something that most people were like, oh, these people can't. He can't even. He drove a car. Cornhole player championships. All right, he won, I think. All right. And next thing you know, how did he even grab the gun? He's got no hands. Got no feet. Why did they let him drive? It's his car. Why does he even have a car? Again, going beyond the limits set on you by society. I like all of this. Not the murder part, but the part that's going beyond limitations and fucking labels and saying nay. I make my own destiny. I carve my own path. That's incredible. Incredible. Again, not the murder part, but the ability factor, all right? So not the greatest circumstance, but trying to see the positives in things. Probably, imagine he had hands and feet. My goodness, imagine he had hands and feet. He could have been, who knows? He could have, but again, killed with no hands and feet. So I don't want you to be, this is again, talk about not being a victim. A lot of people would have have no hands and feet and be like, oh, victim mentality. I bet if I was, put in a corner, and if it came down to it, I guess if it was life and death, I'd be the one who'd be, you know, taken out. No, fucking look at this mentality, fucking Mamba mentality. You know, not the same, obviously. Yes, they're both black, but fucking one of them concentrate on basketball, the other cornhole. Playa, but also murder. So you two, you know, don't put any limitations on yourself. You're like, I can't feel below my neck. Fucking check out this guy. Fucking did it. Speaking of coexisting with other animals and ourselves, there's an uptick of rattlesnakes in SoCal, which I just want to take this time to do a PSA. If you're in Southern California, you're along the coastline, there's an uptick of rattlesnakes. In order to coexist with these rattlesnakes, please take the time to engage with them, look them directly in the eye, grab the rattlesnakes if they are hissing and or making rattlesnake noises like rattling. Imitate their rattlesnake hiss and rattle your tail if you have one. Rattle your torso if you don't have a tail. Look them in the eye. Men, grab them, play with them. You have a penis. A penis is basically a rattlesnake, so there's no reason as to why you should be afraid. Grab the rattlesnakes. Pet the snake the same way you pet your cock. Females, historically, friends of snakes. Grab the snake, put it on your shoulder, put it on your tits. The tits allow the snake to feel your heartbeat and rest on top of them. You could also insert the snake inside the puss. A lot of times, women are like, how can I go hands-free with the snake? Put it up the puss. It's beautiful. Put it up the puss. Children, a lot of times they're like, is it safe for kids to play around rattlesnakes? It's one of the safest. The more you expose yourself to the venom, the more likely you are to, you know, live through it, as opposed to people who get, you know, bitten once and then they die. Because why? No exposure. It's again, building up that tolerance, going back to drinking more and smoking more. And also, you know, don't be afraid of a couple of snake bites, all right? It's a little bit goes a long way. A little bit, same thing as the peanut allergy shit. A little bit of peanuts all day throughout your, you know, childhood, no allergies. The same thing with the snake. So start early, all right? When the baby is still in the mother's womb, have a snake crawl up there and just, you know, let the baby play with the snake. Like, is it safe for pets? Snakes are animals, your pets are animals. I see no reason as to why anyone should be alarmed and or hesitant. Go on your hikes. You don't want to be covering your legs. Make sure not to cover your legs. Short shorts and rattlesnakes. Short shorts, rattlesnakes, sandals. Forget shoes, sandals. Sandals and rattlesnakes go hand in hand. Bring water for the snakes. If they're hissing, they're probably thirsty. Give them water. What I like to do is I put the water in my mouth and grab the snake and just put the snake in my mouth and have them just like fucking, you know, fucking go at the water in my mouth. That's what I do. A couple times I got bitten in the back, but that was on me. But outside of that, yeah, I just want to let you know there's a little bit of an uptick. It's, you know, due to whatever reason, doesn't matter what the reason is. There's an uptick, rattlesnakes, play with them. If your cat and her dog goes into the bush, brings back a rattlesnake, congratulations, now you have a pet rattlesnake. So don't be alarmed as to, oh, what am I going to do with this rattlesnake? It's not, you now got a rattlesnake, all right? So congratulations. A lot of people were worried. A lot of people, myself, I was concerned. I was worried. I was like, lost sleep. I kept tossing and turning. I'm like, man, what's to come of large, just giant mega corporations? I'm talking about specifically, you know, big pharma. What will happen to big pharma once people stop taking the COVID vaccines after it's all said and done? And you're like, there's still plenty of kooks out there who still wear the masks and maybe even getting the COVID vaccines still today. There might be, but they're not as much. You still see them. They walk amongst us. Still see them, a few of them. You know, still, after all these years, still with the mask. But my concern, I'm like, man, people are going to start realizing that they probably don't need these vaccines, that they might actually cause ailments and sometimes death too. So I was concerned for big pharma, because we got to, I was concerned. But luckily, Pfizer just came out. Pfizer has now released a new vaccine for Lyme disease with a 70% efficacy rate, which is, again, this is fantastic news, because I was a little bit concerned. I'm like, man, are we going to make bank? This is a vaccine with a 70% efficacy rate for a disease that was not man-made. That was not, you shut your filthy trap if you think Lyme disease was man-made, dog. Lyme disease is a legitimate disease that was a part of our lives all the time, forever. You heard about it all the time. All right, fine. Okay, fine. You fucking keep pushing. You keep pushing. We might have just heard about Lyme disease just a few years ago, and you might be saying this. I don't say this. All right, you might say that it just popped out. First, let's start with celebrities fucking coming out and saying, I got Lyme disease. It's not man-made, dude. It is not man-made. All right, Lyme disease is a fucking... You heard your grandparents fucking talking about Lyme disease all the time. All day, every day. People in the 50s, 60s, all day, every day. That's what they talk about, fucking Lyme disease. But now, again, rest assured, for this non-man-made disease, there's now a vaccine. It's a 70%, again, it's not for everybody because it's 70% efficacy, all right? So give yourself the injection of Lyme disease to avoid getting the Lyme disease. That's definitely between you and I, that's definitely not man-made, all right? So there's great news. We were worried as to how these big pharmaceutical companies are gonna keep making money, but the great news is that there is now a new vaccine out there, and this shows us that if there's hope for Pfizer, there's hope for all of us. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace out, get out of here.